welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Thanks for jumping on if you're just getting on now. This is the normal time that I do the show, 8:30. Every other Wednesday, I do a live event here in Austin, so I tend to do that show a little bit earlier, and it tends to be a little bit shorter. So if you have any topics that you would want me to do a show on, something about health, nutrition, fitness, wellness, mindset, transformation, I would be happy to cover that topic. I had some great people message me today with a couple topics as well as some comments. So today I'm going to cover really, how to stick to it. So when you set this goal for yourself with healthy eating, clean eating, whatever you want to call it, how do you consistently show up every day and commit to your goals? Hey Meredith, thanks for joining. So I'm going to cover a couple different things because I think some of that sums down to how can you make it easier for yourself. And then there's the mental aspect of it and the cravings and the things that you deal with on a daily basis when it comes to wanting to sabotage your goals. So there's a few different things. As you're jumping on, go ahead and comment, send me hearts so that I know that you're on. And we'll get started here in a second. But yes, so every other Wednesday at 8:30 I come on, and then on the opposite Wednesdays I'll come on earlier in the day covering different health and wellness topics. So if you have any topics that you would want me to cover, please just message me and I would be happy to cover something like that. Hey Tracy, how are you? Thanks for jumping on. Oh, this is so cool. Thanks guys. We got a lot of new people tonight, which is fun. Let's see. Cool. Hey, Lisa. Hi, Ashley. Very fun. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Guys, as I'm going through, awesome, Tracy. As I'm going through, feel free to comment your questions on here and I'll loop back in. That's the one thing that's so great about Facebook Live is it's live. So it's interactive and we can actually have a conversation here. So, thanks for jumping on, Mare. And so please comment, ask your questions, and as we're going through, I will chime in. So main thing we're covering today is how do you make this lifestyle of clean eating, health, mainly we're going to talk about the food part of it today because that's where I think most people struggle. So how do we make that easier? Because I think that if you can make it easier, it's going to be easier to stick to. It's going to be a part of your life. It's going to become a part of your lifestyle. There is the mental aspect to it. There's that commitment piece where people will tend to self-sabotage, or maybe they love one particular food, so they tend to throw their goals out the window if there's a party where they have that food at the appetizer table. We've all been there. So I'm going to go over some of my strategies, to make it easier, and then also to focus on, that commitment and really making this a transformative lifestyle. And so the first thing I want to talk about to make it easier is every single meal you make doesn't have to be knife and fork sitting down with a plate. You can tap into things like shakes and smoothies and meal replacements. The word meal replacement gets a bad rap because there's a lot of bad products out there. So I'm not talking about going to Target and picking up just like any old meal replacement bar or any old meal replacement shake. You always want to know what you're putting in your body. It still needs to be clean. It still needs to be sourced from amazing ingredients, and it has to be, chemical free, artificial sweetener free, really a high quality product. So if you missed my video on clean eating and really what that is, definitely go back and watch that video because I break down for you how you figure out, if a product is clean or not, and if it's something that it can be, technically considered part of a clean eating diet. So the first thing is don't be afraid to tap into those things. Even if it means that you're just throwing some fruit into a blender in the morning and you put some, almonds in there for your good fat, and then maybe put a little almond milk and it's all clean stuff and you blend it up and that's your meal, that's going to be a lot quicker for you and faster for you than, cooking a whole big eggs with, spinach sauteed in there and a big omelet with onions and tomatoes. the shake and the smoothie and the meal replacement is going to be a lot easier for you. So I actually do 2 per day. I do 1 for breakfast and 1 post-workout, or if I work out in the morning, I do that first one as my post-workout or my breakfast, and then I do my second one maybe for lunch. So this takes up 2 of my meals, so I don't have to meal prep for those 2 meals. The second thing is planning ahead. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you must plan. This is a commitment that you're making. In the beginning, it's going to seem like a lot of extra work to plan this all out and plan what your meals are going to be. But the more you do it, it becomes just a part of your life. It becomes a part of your routine, and you're almost on autopilot with it. But you have to put that effort in to plan and commit in the beginning, especially that first couple weeks until you kind of get your groove down. I really say the first 60 days. You know, that's your commitment. And it may seem like it's a little bit of an extra work in the beginning, but eventually it just becomes a part of your lifestyle, and you start to naturally think of things ahead of time. You'll figure out what meals you like, what meals are easy for you to make, what things you can throw together from your fridge that will make a complete clean meal. So planning ahead, I tend to do this on Sundays and Wednesdays, just depending on my week. I work from home, so I don't have to do a ton of planning like I used to, but when I ran the gym, I had to plan everything out. So I had my 2 shakes for 2 of my meals, and that left me with 3 other meals that I needed to plan. So I would do this on Sundays and on Wednesdays, so that way I wasn't cooking all day on Sunday, and then on Wednesday I wasn't cooking for a whole week, and then the food's fresh. So a few other things that you can do are, there's meal plan services. If you really don't like cooking and that's something that you don't want to tap into, look at things like Snap Kitchen, MyFitFoods. There's a lot of good companies out there that use good, high quality ingredients, and they're clean. So literally the only thing in the meal is listed on the label, and it's, you know, whole foods. So that's another great way to cover your meal planning. So definitely look ahead, do things in big batches as well. So I will do like chilies, soups, stews, and I'll cook like double batch, freeze half of it so I have enough. And between my husband and I, we both work from home. So, you know, I could make something and have it all planned out, and Brett could go in the kitchen, and next thing I know, like this happened the other day, I had a whole chicken dish made. I knew that I was going to come home and have that. I got home and it was already eaten. He didn't know that that was supposed to be my last meal for the day, and he wasn't even home. He was out at a meeting that he had. So rather than get angry and, you know, annoyed, because we've all been there, if you are into fitness or health at all, you know, when someone eats your meal prep, you're like, I meal prep that. Anyways, I already had some backup stuff made because I had frozen a second batch. So that's the cool thing about doing this, is you always have it on hand. I love to do things that I can eat out of a bowl because they're quick, easy, and they're easy to make. You just literally throw them in a stew pot. So look up different recipes for like clean turkey chilies, butternut squash soups, stews, anything like that. So planning ahead. So my first one is that you can definitely tap into clean sources of meal replacements, making smoothies and shakes. Those are going to speed up the process a lot. The second thing is planning ahead. So looking at your whole week, planning it out. The third thing is really tuning into your body. And when I say this, I mean like literally imagine taking your brain, bringing it down into your body and thinking about how you feel, taking note, pressing pause, and thinking about how you feel. Because when you stop and you pause and you think about how you feel, you're going to start to recognize how certain foods make you feel after you're eating as well. So this is a journey and a process that may take a little bit longer, because some people, food is an emotional thing, and that's, a whole nother show. You got to work through some of those when you use food to cope, stress, all these different, scenarios in your life. But if you take note of how you feel and you stop and you think before you eat, you're going to make a conscious decision versus just an unconscious decision where you're just eating to eat because you're starving. And if you're planned out, you shouldn't be starving. So my biggest thing is I know how certain foods make me feel, even certain vegetables. And so I consciously make the choice when I'm ordering at a restaurant or I'm at a home eating to not choose those things. Because if you feel better, then you're going to continue to make those good choices. So when I say tune into your body, you really have to want to feel good. And it sounds contradictory, but sometimes people use food as a way of coping, and then they end up feeling worse, and it turns into this vicious cycle. So you have to really, really, really want to break free of that cycle. You have to want to feel good, and you have to remember how certain foods make you feel. Big kind of red flag foods that will upset people's stomach or make them feel lethargic or foggy brained tend to be things like wheat, dairy, some of these more inflammatory foods. So especially when you're having meals with, maybe this week you say, I'm going to just see how I feel. I'm going to stop, like what Lucy said, tune into my body and see how I feel after I eat dairy. See how you feel. It might be a food that you need to take out because it's making you feel worse, and it's just turning into almost like a checkout food for you rather than a nourishing food. So the third one is tuning into your body. That will make it a lot easier because you'll easily know how certain foods make you feel, and you'll be able to make that conscious decision rather than unconsciously just eating because you didn't plan anything out. The third thing is your why. So when you get to those tough spots, this is the fourth component. When you get to those tough spots where you feel like just throwing in the towel, and this is called deception, guys. This happens to everyone. It happens in every time you're going through transformation. You're going to hit a point where you just aren't as excited about it anymore. You just feel like quitting. It would just be easier to go through the drive-through. It would just be easier to cave because you're at this social thing and you're nervous and you don't know anybody. It would just be easier, right? That all happens to everybody. It happens for some people usually around week 2. Once that first week's over, the excitement's worn off. That's all a part of the transformation process. So get excited when that phase comes because you're changing. You're like, yes, okay, I'm going through the transformation process. And in those moments, this is when you need to focus on why you are committing to this lifestyle, why you're committing to a healthier lifestyle. Why are you doing it? Why is it important to you? And you need to reflect on this daily. And I'm not talking like I want to be able to wear skinny jeans because everybody's wearing skinny jeans. There's a deeper reason than that. It's why. It's usually taps into an emotion, taps into how you feel, taps into maybe wanting to live a long life for your grandchildren, taps into, maybe you're trying to have children and you need to keep your body as healthy as possible so that you can conceive. There's so many different reasons. Everybody has a different why, but you really need to dig deep and keep peeling off those layers and figuring out what that is for you. Everybody has it. So when I talk to someone and they tell me that they want to lose 5 pounds, I go deeper with them and I ask them, well, why do you want to lose 5 pounds? Well, I want to feel good. Well, what would feeling good do for you? What would allow me to be more confident? And I would say, okay, well, and it goes from there. So you need to dig deep with yourself and figure out really why you want this. Because until you find that, it's not going to become a lifestyle for you because you have nothing fueling it. So say it is skinny jeans. Well, fall's going to come and go. What's it going to be next summer? It's got to be something deeper than that you can attach to, that has an emotion attached to it, that is fueling this journey for you. Because you're going to have wall-kicking moments and you're going to go through deception. That is just part of it. So when you hit those moments, if you've identified why you're doing this, it's easy to pull yourself out of those moments because you can literally read it to yourself, you can envision it, and you can remember why you're doing it, okay? So I always say, for me, the part of it too was like, I just got so sick of starting over again. It's not about starting over or being on or off. This is who I am, this is who I'm being, this is the lifestyle that I'm leading. Get over it. It doesn't mean that you can't ever have a slice of pizza again. It's that, I'm Lucy Kelly. I choose to be healthy. I want to live a long life, and this is important to me. So this is who I am. So it's kind of having a come to Jesus moment about really what it means to be healthy, and do you really want that? And obviously there's a plethora of benefits to living a healthy lifestyle, but you need to have that real conversation with yourself, because it's not easy. And it's not, I mean, in the beginning, while you're going through the transformation process, it's not going to be easy. So you have to really want it. And the other thing I do is, like, I will set it as my background on my phone so that way it's always there. Whether that means that you write your why out in like a quote, or you do a screenshot of it or something like that, so that the reason why you're going through the transformation is right there on your phone daily. It's in the front of your mind. The fifth thing is don't beat yourself up. Okay, this, like I said, this isn't an on or off thing. This is just, you're choosing this lifestyle, so you don't beat yourself up. Because if you have, a cookie or something, it doesn't matter. You're living a healthy lifestyle. That cookie just was a part of that day, and tomorrow you get another shot at it. If you beat yourself up, you're going to stay down with that cookie or whatever it is for you a lot longer than you need to be, whereas you could just pull yourself back up on that horse that very next meal if you just kind of brush it off and move on. It's a decision every single meal. It's a decision every single day. And when you beat yourself up about one little thing that you had at like breakfast time, you're going to continue to sabotage yourself the rest of the day, rather than just getting right back on that horse that very next meal, and then a couple hours later you're going to feel better. So don't stress about it, guys. If you that's life. If you go out and have a glass of wine or whatever, that leads me to my last thing is don't expect to be perfect. That's not how life is. Life culture is filled with food. That's a part of our life, experiencing different cuisines, traveling and trying foods from those different local areas. And that's not what I'm talking about. That is just a part of life, and I like to enjoy different things too when I travel, and I'm okay with that. But it's knowing that every single day you're going to put your body first and your health first and do what it takes to feel good. So don't beating yourself up and not expecting to be perfect, or kind of one and the same. I have a rule. It's kind of like 90%. So for me, unless someone's just getting started and they're going through like a detox, and it's really important that they stay clean so that their body can actually go through that process, the rule I follow is 90%. So for me, if you're eating 5 to 6 times per day, that's anywhere from 3 to 4 times per week. So maybe that's a glass of wine one day, maybe another day that's my husband and I go out to dinner. And there's something on there that I wouldn't normally choose to fuel my body with. So it's about 3 times, and that's where I can feel good. And then there's some weeks I don't have any times. It's a completely clean week. So, but I don't beat myself up anymore. I used to beat myself up of if I had one thing that wasn't on my food list, it would be like, I just ruined all of my hard work for the whole week. No, that's not how it works with your body. So don't beat yourself up. Just get right back on the horse, and just remember why you're doing this, and remember to check in and acknowledge how different foods make you feel. So, all right, guys. So that's what I had on how to make eating clean easier for you, and then also how to break free from that on and off mental cycle when it comes to healthy eating. It's a choice. Get excited that you choose every day to fuel your body well and be healthy, because not a lot of people make that choice every day. So thanks so much for jumping on, guys. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. And then next week, I'll be on a little bit earlier. If you have any topics that you want me to cover, go ahead and just send them over to me, and I'd be happy to do a show on them. So have a great week, guys, and I will see you next week.